we're getting carted off to a police station, little food, very little water, over 30 degrees, no translator, screaming and shouting, sign this or we'll ruin your lives, sign it. I'm like, I'm not signing a blank piece of paper. And you like I told you just before, you got the Indian guy translating and people playing hardball, and oh, it was absolute nightmare. And we're all in this tiny little room, 35 guys in this tiny little room crammed up. I didn't even fill no paperwork. I went, you've got me details, you've got me passport. Yeah. I don't need to write nothing. And then there was a doctor there, a so-called doctor. He just prodded your stomach a bit.
Yeah.
I was like, cheers. And then that was us, carted away. Getting dark. Went to a court that was closed. Went around the back. Some guy waffled something in Tamil. Got back on the bus. And then headed to a hotel. The illustrious prison of Palamcourty. Got there. Pitch black. Mosquitoes. Sweaty. Horrendous. You've hardly been fed. You're dehydrated. You've got headaches. Your mind's going 10 knots to a dozen. Your family's coming into your mind. You're like, what on earth is going on?
Remarkable story, and it's a story that I remember seeing it in the news a long time ago, and I've been watching the other podcasts he's been on, and the story, unveil and the damage it's been having on himself and what he's been doing, and to see this man move forward and keep going and keep aspiring to inspire and moving. It's absolutely it's someone that inspires me massively. So I'd like to welcome to the show Nick Dunn.
Thanks for having us on.
You're more than welcome, mate. Just before we start, I think I texted you this the other day. I think page 26. You went and did pre-deployment training in a green jacket camp, and it was piss easy compared to Paris. That's fucking starting on the wrong foot, isn't it? Anyway, how was the journey, mate? Good?
Yeah, nice drive down.
From Ashlington?
From Ashington, yeah. Just over 3 hours. Nice sunny day outside. So
finally had lockdown all.
Yeah, it's, a lot positive now.
Yeah.
Hopefully brighter future, hopefully, fingers crossed.
I reckon so. So going back, we'll hit the main meat of the story soon, but going back, let's start from the beginning. I like to start at the beginning, from childhood, moving forward, going into military life. So, do you want to start childhood?
Yeah, childhood was a good upbringing. I had a middle class, hard-working dad and mum, older brother and sister. So, growing up in the northeast was good. Always out. You were never in. Doesn't matter what weather it was. You were always out. Even though there was computer game back then, like your Sega Mega Drive and SNES and all that.
We're similar age, aren't we? You're
35.
I'm 36. Yeah. So same as us. Yeah. When the lights come on outside,
that's it. Get your ass back.
Start legging it. You know what I mean?
You could be about 5 miles away. It just something. You'd be like, sorry lads, I've got to go home. My tea's ready.
I'm about to do 3 BFAs.
Yeah, and you'll be legging it, and then what? You at the time you're living the life. You've got zero problems, zero worries in life, and then when you get older, when you actually get put on the spot to talk about your upbringing and your childhood and all that, it does bring back some good memories.
Yeah.
I was a delinquent. Obviously, if I did wrong, I was punished.
Yeah.
And I think most parents should obviously punish their children if they do wrong. Obviously, I know times have changed, but when I was growing up, you knew you were in the wrong.
Yeah.
You had a smacked arse and you couldn't sit down for a week. But it was all good, playing football, out and about, making camps down the woods, and I think that was what kind of spurred me on into wanting to join the army. And always, you know, you're seeing the old war films like on a Sunday afternoon, and my dad always like kind of watched them, and I just kind of sat and watched them as well. And you're just a young kid, and you just think, "Wow, that looks meant that," and I can't. I want to be older now. I want to join now, and you know,
it's crazy how much you wish your childhood away, and then when you get to a certain age, you go, "I want to go back." You know what I mean? I don't. Well, I'm like that. I always wish.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I wanted to grow up quick.
Yeah,
so I
me
can go
too.
and drink, so I can go and do this and go and do that. Because I always hung around with older kids.
Mm.
But then I got too older. I was like, oh, I want to be young again. You know what I mean? This is shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so you joined. Well, you settled for the Paras.
Well, I wouldn't say settled. I wanted to join the best.
Every podcast you've been on, you said, I've joined the best regiment.
I've joined the best regiment, yeah.
It's going to turn out wrong, this, isn't it?
They are who they are.
I'll take my hat off, and a lot of riflemen are going to fucking hate me now. But I wish I went and did like some like Pathfinders or P Company or something like that while I was in.
No,
because I didn't realise you could go and do that. I thought it was just Paras that could do it.
No, you do. You know All Arms P Company.
Yeah.
I think that's like what, a month long, 3 weeks, something like that. Yeah. If you can do P Company, yes, okay, fair enough. It's
a lick.
A big lick. A week of tough, somewhat team building exercises, also personal ones like a 10-miler and all that, and 2-miler. If you can do that, why not start from the beginning?
Yeah.
But not everyone can be a parachute regiment soldier. You know, so it might not appeal to people. Like, people have always said, what were you like when you first jumped out of an aeroplane? I was like, I was buzzing.
Yeah.
Like, what? I know a lot of paratroopers who do not like jumping.
Yeah.
But being a paratrooper is not just about jumping out of an aeroplane.
No.
It's a bit bigger than that. And you just got to look back at history and the countless battles that they've fought and won.
Yeah.
Going back to World War II, and you know, not long ago, you've got the start of the Falklands, the anniversary of that, and what the parachute regiment did in the Falklands, and Afghanistan as well, and it's just a fantastic regiment to be in, and I'm proud to have served.
Brilliant. Is it you that said that when you were doing your jumps, you got into the plane last?
Yeah.
Because you didn't want to go first?
Yeah. And I didn't realise
you were first
I was the first one out the door. Monged it there, didn't I? But it's a weird experience, because like, you stood at the door and you're seeing the traffic when you're passing over the roads, and you're seeing all the fields, and you're getting closer to the LZ, and you're just seeing that red light, and then you're waiting for that green light, and then that's it. Like, you jump out and the slipstream takes control of you, and you've got literally no control. And then once you kind of come to rest, you know, you do all your checks, make sure you're not in twists, etc. And well, I was the first out the door. I surely wasn't the first one to land either. I was, I think, 9.5 stone piss wet through.
Still up there.
Still up there while everyone's spanking in on the ground.
Halfway through the platoon attack.
Yeah.
Mega. So tours, straight away, as soon as you passed your training, you were straight out, weren't you?
Yeah, I was in battalion just over a month, and then the rest of the battalion was doing their pre-deployment training for Northern Ireland, and I joined my company, and we went out to Northern Ireland, South Armagh. In one para, yeah. An experience. I think I nearly pissed down for 6 months. But in the South Armagh of Northern Ireland, it's just fields.
Yeah.
You know, But I wasn't at Besbrook Mill for the whole 6 months. I was, here, there, and everywhere. So I've got a bit of a feel for the surrounding areas, and
Yeah.
like being a 19-year-old young man, it was an experience for my first operation. Quiet, but at the end of the day, you've still got to be vigilant, and you've still got to be on your A game, because that's when things can
Yeah, of course.
go horribly wrong when you're too
Complacency's a killer.
complacent. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But like you say, for my first tour, it was an experience.
Break it in, like, ready for you did Afghan first?
I did
Off the mid-
Afghan
off
in
the-
2007, 2008.
Yeah.
And then obviously I finished off in Iraq 2009, 10.
Mega.
Yeah, pretty one extreme to the other.
Yeah, yeah.
Afghanistan, well, don't need to say much about
No.
Afghanistan. It's a very hostile, bleak
Yeah.
area.
Where were you based? Were you in the FOB?
Yeah, we spent a little bit in Bastion, and then we went to our own like little fob.
Because you basically support group, weren't you?
Yeah,
For
yeah.
KSF.
So we were doing different operations compared to the rest of the UK regiments out
Okay.
there. Very strange experience, because you're eager for something to happen, but you're shit scared for something to happen at the same
Yeah.
time. And I don't care what anyone says, you're going to a war,
Yeah.
and half the time you're fighting nearly an invisible enemy.
Yeah.
I remember watching from the high ground as another company went into a small, little towns and doing like attacks, and you can hear the rounds and
Yeah.
going off, and you got the support guns going off, and then you're trying to look through the binos to find where the hell the enemy is, and
Yeah.
you're like, what you shooting at?
Yeah.
It's absolute. Well, that's where they get the shoot and scoot from.
Yeah, that's it. Murder rolls, etc.
Yeah, the pull the trigger, blatter 20-odd rounds down the range, and then hopefully one of them hits a UK soldier
Yeah.
or two. It's very dangerous. Everyone who's served in the British Army has hopefully experienced a bit of Afghanistan more than once, and it was quite strange for my family, because there was a lot of British people getting injured, and unfortunately those who lost their lives not too long before I went out there. So you can understand, as my family, they were
The
getting
anxiety of it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think every family is in that position.
Yeah. Did you ever think about it before you deployed? Did you ever think about your family and how they were feeling, or were you more focused on yourself getting out there and staying in your game?
I didn't really think too much of my family, because I
Yeah.
think that can act as a negative.
Yeah, same.
You've got
It sounds really selfish, but
it's very selfish.
I wiped out all thought of my family. I almost acted like they never existed. They were there.
Mm.
I loved them, but it was always like they never existed, because I had a job to do.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? And I'd never written home too often,
I
calls.
didn't really. But
because
yes,
it's distracted. You know what I mean?
we were able to use the internet and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I was in communications, but it gets monitored, so you can't really say much,
No,
and
no.
you don't really
Not that
want
you
to say.
want to.
You
No,
don't
no.
really want to say much what you've
No.
been doing, because for starters, your parents aren't going to care what you've been doing.
Yeah.
They don't care if you've been changing your socks and a camel spider comes and tries and attacks you. They might laugh about it, but at that moment of time,
I don't.
their thought processes, their little baby is in
Yeah.
a war zone.
Yeah.
That they're gone into parent mode. So for 6 months, every day, they're praying.
Yeah.
That phone call or a knock at the door.
Yeah.
It's the postman or a family member ringing, not the military ringing them or
Yeah.
knocking on the door. So it is quite scary, I would think, for a lot of
Yeah.
families.
Definitely.
But it was an
Definitely.
experience, yeah, definitely. I remember when it was stopped for like a lunch break, and everyone was, the Afghanistan guys that all up were training up. they were all
the
out.
A&A, yeah.
The A&A, yeah. They were out, you know, making sure that we're secure and there was no lookouts or anything like that. But there obviously was someone tailing because we started taking indirect fire from the mortars, and I was
that 91?
I think so, yeah. It's hard to tell when I was not really in mortars, but I'm just chilling out, rehydrating, getting some food, and there's people doing, you know, taking their boots off to air their feet one at a time as protocol, and you hear the noise and you think, what the hell is that? And you know what it is, and you just wait for the explosion or some sort of bang, and your heart starts going 50 pence, 20 pence, and you're like, shit, what the hell's going on here? Because it's the first time I've kind of experienced it when it's not like really on an exercise. So it does kind of get your heart racing a bit, and then you make sure all your body armor's on and your helmet's back on, and they send the guys out in the vehicles to try and find out where the mortars are coming from. Unfortunately, they were unable to find them because mortars can fire from a long way away. So it was an experience, but my personal experience was later to come. I think it was. I think we're in Musakala at the time, or somewhere else. I can't really remember now, but yeah, would
was that the IED?
Yeah, well, pressure plate. Mine. I was top gunner on the Gympie and the Wimmick, so the Land Rover with bits of
Skoda with a sunroof,
bits of skirt and body armor on. It was like, if that goes over a mine, it's ruined anyways. But yeah, it was good. Bobbing around in the desert, you know, scouting around, because it's just
being alley.
Well, yeah, basically just looking good.
Yeah.
But making sure your eyes are peeled for any split second of movement. Looking for anything that looks out of place on the ground. It is difficult when you're driving at some speed. It's even worse at night time when you've got night vision goggles on and you're thinking, I can't see shit. But we were parked up while one of the companies was heading off on to do an operation, and you're going to get, because where we were near a little village, and obviously the people who know, like Al Qaeda and Taliban, will use these local villagers, scare them into working for them, and make, you know, let one know if they see any American soldiers or any allied soldiers, and basically let one know. And we noticed there was a guy, a guy and a smaller kid on a motorbike. They were looking, obviously dicking with the mech to just pass information back, no doubt. We jumped in the Land Rover and headed over, see if we could intercept them, but they were way gone. And we drove back, gone to park up where we were, and in a split second, a massive dust cloud, massive explosion, and I'm lying in the back of the Land Rover, ears ringing, thinking, what in the hell's just happened here? So quick. It's not like what you think in films where you've literally got time to jump out the way or you know, it's very quick, and luckily none of us were injured, and it was just a pressure plate mine, and it went up the engine block. It was, according to the gurus, it was a 105 shell they used. I actually had a souvenir and they took it off us because they wanted to know which organisation it was. I was thinking, well, it's Al-Qaeda, I don't care, it's mine, but they wouldn't let us keep it part of the 105 shell, so I was pretty gutted. But yeah, very daunting experience, because majority of people who've been killed in Afghanistan have been involved in IEDs, and it's a horrible way, because well, it's scared.
Yeah.
It's the enemy being scared, and they're just dropping mines and putting IEDs because they know if they went toe to toe with us, they wouldn't stand a chance.
No way.
So they use IEDs of maiming and killing Allied soldiers. So the guys with the metal detectors came round. Like I say, the dust had settled, ears still ringing, and this is where things do come into play, where you see things slow down and the voice slows down, like you see in films. That actually does happen. And I could hear the guys and I was making out, they were saying, stay where you are, don't get out the vehicle in case there's surrounding other secondary devices, etc. I jumped out after having a bit of a wonky leg. It was shaking.
Yeah.
And I composed myself, and when it was all clear, I jumped off and made sure that I was personally all right.
Yeah.
And just to the right, a bit north of our vehicle, there was a very big so-called mine or something along those lines. Could have been an anti-tank mine, but the guys were saying there's a big detection over there. So obviously they've done around, got a little markers out, and obviously with the stones and do that. And imagine if we came to the right a bit, and if that was an anti-tank mine, it would have made mincemeat of the vehicle.
Yeah.
You'd been lucky to find the three of us. We would have been scattered all over.
It's that whole what if, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Especially when they are designed to destroy and disable a tank.
Yeah.
You've got a little Land Rover with a bit of body armor on, and flesh and blood and bone.
Exactly.
It's going to be destroyed, and it was a big wake because on that particular job, a few people had been going over mines, and well, one of the guys drove over with a quad, but it was a delay, and it hit the trailer.
Oh, yeah, yeah. So
he drove over, set it off, but it delayed and hit the trailer. The pickup trucks, they'd hit a few. They're dangerous, and they do put the shits up you.
Yeah.
These mines, they're designed to blow someone's leg off.
Yeah.
You take one guy out, how many others is taken out? You know, you potentially a section of 6 to 8 guys.
Yeah.
4 guys taking a stretcher. Maybe 2 at the limit. You know,
it's
that's
reduces
still,
numbers.
Exactly, and that's what the enemy are trying to do: reduce your numbers, so they can stand a better chance at
it's the
attacking.
whole 5.56, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean, tumbling. But so from there you left unscathed.
Yeah.
Lucky enough.
Back to UK British Army role, doing counter-terrorism. That was quite interesting, you know, cutting around black kit, abseiling onto moving vessels from helicopters and
Hollywood stuff.
it was quite interesting, different. You know,
it's something that most soldiers don't get to experience, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
It's different side of it.
Yeah, and because of the role we served, working alongside UK Special Forces, we basically mirrored them, and good experience. And then 2009 went to Iraq, working with the Special Forces, and that was an experience because you're not in the desert, you're in towns, cities.
Whereabouts was
village. We're in Baghdad.
Baghdad.
Yeah, unofficially. Kind of, if you know what I mean. I couldn't put too much of it in because of the nature of the role that we're in. So that was a different experience. So through my 3 operations that I served with, all 3 were different.
Yeah.
You've got UK, like your Northern Ireland, cutting around fields. Then you've got the desert of Afghanistan, and then you've got towns and suburban areas of surrounding areas of Baghdad. And that, in a way, I felt I had to be on more guard
Yeah.
than in Afghanistan, because you've got to be more vigilant with snipers.
Yeah.
And there was a job we were on, just doing an escort job to the hospital. And where we were, if you were a good sniper, you could have just picked it off.
Yeah.
I was like trying to keep out the way, if you know.
Yeah.
And it was quite funny because the local guys, the local Iraqis brought some food over, and all the guys kind of were turning their nose to it, and I thought, fuck this, I'm starving. Get it. I think I had the shit for about 2 days. But I'm not going to turn down
Poached
food.
goat.
Yeah, boiled goat and God knows what, man. But it was an experience.
Yeah.
You can see in their face that the mean well, and
Yeah.
they're offering food, and I think if you refuse it, it doesn't sit well with them.
Yeah.
And I've always been brought up to, politely refuse, but when you're going out to these Arabic countries, and you get to find out what their traditions are and do's and don'ts, etc., it's more welcoming, I would say, to take that food, because, well, you build a bit of a rapport, and
that's it.
they won't try and stab you in the back, I suppose.
think it's more memories as well, isn't it? Because I remember we had some food there, and no, it wasn't. Sorry, tell a lie. We had to Puritab water because we ran out of water when we were out on an op.
Yeah.
And we were drinking out of a stream. And I think it was literally a day or two later, I was in the DV tent in Fob Jackson.
Yeah.
And it was the most terrible time of my life. The firefights, the contacts were great compared to this. I had a drip in. I was sat there in me grundies in the dust bowl. The helipad was there. We had this little makeshift tent with a drip in, and every time the chopper dropped in, it just blasted us with sand. And I was shitting for the eye of a needle, sick down me. And he just kept coming in and give me bottles of water. I was like, fucking hell, you know what I mean? But now I look back, I go, you know what? I'm glad I had that bit of bread and shit myself, because we all look back on it now and laugh and go, I remember that time you shit yourself in the trench and all that. I'm like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? It makes memories, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. I think everyone in the military still serving or have previously served throughout the years have all got fantastic stories to tell.
Yeah.
Even when it's not military related, just on the piss and stuff like that, or just blokes banter and stuff like that. Some of the stuff that I've witnessed and experienced at my time in the army, it is good memories.
Yeah.
Some bad, but you can't, look at the bad memories. You just got to think of the good memories. And
no, obviously there's bad memories there, but I find that the good normally overwrites that. You obviously got the trauma and that there, and that stays with you in one way or another, but then you've got the good times.
It's like,
you know what I mean? It's like overwrites it.
Yeah, it's like when every time it was coming to Remembrance Sunday, and we're all stood around, and you look at where they replaced the Remembrance statue, and you start and think, I know you shouldn't think that, but I think every guy does, who's going to be that first name on that?
Yeah.
And it's a horrible thing to think, especially when you see other guys who have been injured in Afghanistan, stood there showing that battle scars of that time in Afghanistan, and it puts the hairs on the back of your neck.
Yeah, it does, it does.
You could cut them off. They're that sharp and sticky outy, and it does send a shiver, because you think, and you're just waiting, because yes, we were doing different roles, but we're doing more dangerous roles, more high octane roles and jobs and operations. We're not invincible.
No, not at all.
And I served with some absolute fantastic soldiers who are maybe still in today or have left. And you look at some of the soldiers you served with, and you think, I'd follow you into hell.
Yeah.
There's that few guys that I can turn around and say I would follow you into hell, but you do that anyways.
Yeah.
You know, whether you got on with each other in battalion, when you're on operations,
It all goes.
it all goes
yeah.
well because you're fighting for your life.
Yeah.
And
for theirs.
And exactly. And yes, I might say I absolutely despise you, and he might say the same thing, but I'd lay my life for them, and
Yeah.
I hope they return the favour.
Of course.
And that's what the core values of being in the British Army are.
Yeah.
You put your difference aside when you're fighting for your life, when you're on operations, and
That's it. Have a scrap and you get back over a pint.
exactly.
Yeah.
What stays on the piss, what happens on the piss stays on the piss, so they say.
Or the block.
Oh, the block, yeah.
So yeah, you got back from Iraq. You then ended your career and went into a different role, didn't you? Then down the security route.
I did, yes. A few of the guys that I served with, they were getting out and going and doing CP, or I didn't notice at the time they jumped ship to start maritime role. I was only out briefly, but a strange transition, saying like I've been in the army since I was 18.
Yeah.
So from school, a year in college, into the army. That's all I practically know. I didn't do well at school.
Yeah.
Didn't get many qualifications, if any at all, because I wanted to join the army. But you know, it was hard because you're so used to how the army runs, and then that doesn't always happen in Civvy Street.
Being regimented.
Yeah. Thinking outside the box. People
Yeah.
are like, well, this is what I've been told to do. And I'm thinking, but if you do it this way, it's quicker and easier.
Yeah.
But this is what I've been told to do. And you're thinking, for God's sakes, man, get a grip. But if you can ask any military personnel
Yeah.
what it was like when they came out, they would have said it was difficult.
Yeah.
They wanted to go back in.
Yeah.
I guarantee you.
Yeah.
Because it's a strange. I know mine was only briefly, but say, imagine if you've done 22 years.
Yeah.
And you come out and the army is all you know.
Yeah.
It is going to send
A culture
you,
shock.
Yeah, it's massive culture shock. So I made sure while I was out to get my qualifications done, do my colours protection course, and then a guy I served with says, "Have you heard of anti-piracy?" I was like, briefly. Do you want to give us more information? He goes, well, you're preventing pirates. I went, Captain Jack Sparrow. He went, no, man, you dick. I went, I know what you mean. Gans, Somali pirates off the, coast of Somalia, Gulf of Aden, Suez Canal, Red Sea, Arabian Sea, Indian Ocean, all the little dodgy places around there, little islands.
Yeah.
They are operating around there. They're hijacking vessels. We're going to be on as armed security. Are you interested? I'll get you squared away for a course that I did. I went, all right, okay. So I went and done my course in Stoke. 3-day course. Or something, 3-4-day course, something like that. It was good, interesting. And then a couple of guys from that company had been away and came back, and they were sharing their experiences, giving you a bit more of a insight of what you would be doing. They did say it would be mundane. You are on the ocean. You don't realise how big the ocean actually really is till you're on it.
Yeah.
And they're not wrong. There would be days where you'd never see a vessel. You'd see the vessel on the radar, but you'd never see it.
Yeah. Because
it's so just so far away, and it's good when... It's funny when you're on a bulk carrier going about 10 knots, and then you've got a container vessel going 20, and it just bombs past you, and you're thinking, I'd love to be on that.
Yeah.
But it was when I was working on maritime, I was getting paid per day. I wasn't getting set pay till I'd joined the company, my final company. So I'd stay on for weeks.
Just get the dough.
Get the dough, yeah. Experience, going to different countries.
Yeah. Like
South Africa, going to the Oman. Obviously, I'd visit the Oman when I was in the army. Egypt, Sri Lanka a few times, brief stop in India.
Won't say brief, like.
Well, I was brief on one of the vessels. We got off an Indian, flew from Mumbai back to the UK. But I went to different places, different crews,
Different nationalities and
different
stuff.
nationalities, experience different cultures. Like if you're on a Russian vessel, you're eating bollocks from a bloody cow and stuff like that. I'm like, can you just like put a steak on my plate? No, testicles. I was like, all right, okay. Chinese vessel, chicken feet and rice, octopus. It was quite funny because the guys, when we were on there, they just looked at the food and went, "No, I'm protein shaking it." I like me food, and I'll never turn down food, and I hate wastage of food.
Yeah.
Because if you're gonna waste food, at least ask me first. You know what I mean? And then I had 3 plates of octopus to eat, and it's mad with the Chinese because they absolutely have no filter at all. We were invited to sit on the captain's table, and when I'm still eating about 3 plates of octopus, he's sparking up, biting on like a. I think in the space of 10 minutes, he had about 10 cigarettes or something. They are absolutely relentless. They massive on smokers, massive on gambling. They're mental. And the ship was full of fucking cockroaches.
Really?
Yeah, I remember waking up middle of the night, going to the toilet, and I put the light on, and it was just cockroaches all over the walls. I was just thinking, get me off this.
You know.
Get me off this now. Experience.
Yeah.
Like the agent on one particular vessel was late, and the Russian captain was mortal pissed out of school, and he was gobbing off like left, right, and centre. And the TL was just like, I can't deal with this fucking asshole. Like, I can't deal with him. And he got me to deal with the captain, and I was like, what are you giving me? I can't deal with someone who can only speak bloody English, man. He's pissed Russian. What am I? Probably stab us or something. But he was okay. Calmed him down a bit, but he just locked himself in his room, in his cabin, and just got pissed for about a week. I was like, oh, champion. And then when we left the vessel, he was sober as a judge.
Madness.
That was just madness. Going down the Red Sea when it was the northern, what do you call it? The bloody torrential forecast, the monsoon season.
Yeah.
And for 3 hours of my watch, I literally, I was holding myself and because there was no room to put the pelly boxes for the weapons. So I was kind of clutching the pelly box with my legs while holding on the bench. And because the vessel was just rocking back and forth, and I was just like looking out the window, and I was thinking, we're going to capsize here, man. This is ridiculous. We're going to capsize. Seeing the waves coming over, and I'm thinking, we're going to die. We're going to die. At least let us die on land. You know, I don't want to die at sea. I'm a shit swimmer, and a shark might eat us or something, you know. But it's weird, scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fucking hated it.
Madness. So going to your last maritime operation.
Yeah. Or I came back to the UK, got on the books with another company. They gave me more long-term contract.
American company.
Yeah, American company. So it appealed to me. I had heard rumours, but obviously they sold a good story, and they were getting better and getting bigger contracts, and you could see it.
Yeah.
Working on these big oil tankers and going to Kuwait and sailing from there down to Sri Lanka, and then back up from Sri Lanka to the Oman, and then we were supposed to go back to Sri Lanka, and then the company has 3 support vessels where you can go on for between client vessels and hand in your kit and equipment and just chill out, fish, sunbathe, do some gym, and if you've got resistant bands with you, which I used to take with us as well. And we were told 2 days into our trip from Muscat, we weren't going to Sri Lanka, we were going to join the Seaman Guard Ohio, our support vessel. So we joined there, spent like a week on there, and then we ceased operations because we needed fuel and provisions. There was a cyclone nearby, which kind of forced us to come closer into Indian waters. In maritime law, you can seek shelter in a neighbouring country in, inhumane weather conditions, which was a cyclone, so
Yeah.
which helped massively for getting the provisions and all that because we're closer to land. So
how were the provisions being brought across? Were they from
they were bringing it via vessel, and we were just transporting it. It looked absolutely dodgy as hell, chucking fuel barrels over the side of the water attached to a rope and fishing them across
I read that in the book. You said instead of putting a tube across and filling the tank up, they're just throwing barrels across.
Oh, it was, and the sea, the sea state wasn't calm. It was choppy as hell.
The end of a cyclone is choppy.
And
yeah,
it was nighttime, and I thought, this is dodgy. I'm going to bed. I went to bed. I think it was after 11, maybe 12, and then we woke up early in the morning by what TDO, the tactical deployment officer, the guy who's sort out the security for the client vessels, issuing the kit and equipment, etc. And he told us we had been boarded by the Indian Coast Guard and we were told to head toward a port. And I was like, why? He goes, I don't know, but they're armed and we've got to do what they say.
Yeah.
So it was daylight, obviously. We all kind of got up, bedheads, wondering what the hell's going on. Get, deck side. And you could see the Coast Guard vessel at gunpoint following me. And I noticed we were going so slow. And where we were anchored, so where land was, I think, I'm not too sure off the top of my head how many nautical miles away we were. But travelling distance, maybe an hour and a half max.
Yeah.
And we were going ever so slow. I think we were going about 2 knots. I'm like, why we're going so slow? He goes, I have no idea. Well, that all came apparent when we got to port. We just originally thought it was just people at the port.
Yeah.
Because ports are quite busy.
Yeah.
People on the ground, especially over in India.
Manic.
Absolute manic. But no, there was a lot of people there and a lot of reporters there as well. And we're thinking, what's going on here?
Been tipped off, like.
Well, even if there was someone acting suspicious, the last thing you want straight away is media there.
Yeah.
It would be done in-house, and then, obviously, if they can't deal with it, it would then broaden to the authorities.
Yeah.
The correct ones anyways. But it's like, everyone and the dog was there. And I was like, this doesn't sit right. But you kind of play it off.
Yeah.
You don't think about it, you just... What I did think about was, you hear stories, and I've, had a few people that I know that's told us about their experiences in these different countries around the world, where they'll play hardball, and it's to do with corruption.
Yeah.
Money talks.
Oh yeah, massively.
Oh, your paperwork's not done complete. Or your passports look a bit dodgy there. Is that because you know what they're doing, the stamp, it might be faded a bit because they didn't put enough ink on. So they might, that doesn't look legitimate. And then you just go, well, I'll have to ring my company, and then you tell them that, and then they'll say, ask them how much they want. It's mad. You don't think this would ever happen.
Yeah.
But it does happen. Unfortunately, it didn't happen to us. Something bigger is being told. when you've got media in their numbers,
Yeah.
you've got different organisations. Organisation as far as Mumbai. Unless they had a private jet, there was absolutely no way they would have gotten there that quick. I believe we've been sold down the river. We've been sold out. I don't know why, but at the time you don't realise it, but I can think back now and I can definitely 100% say our agent sold us.
Yeah.
Especially when you look at how much money the company gave him to procure fuel and provisions to what actually was spent when we did the trial, because all the
Right.
paperwork had to be.
Yeah.
And and I've got visual evidence where we are showing the authorities the weapons and ammunition, and you've got our agent laughing and joking with the police, and I'm thinking, hang on a minute, this isn't a joking matter.
Where was the agent from? Was he?
Indian.
He was Indian.
Yeah, they're all slimy
Yeah.
when they're in that situation. They're all slimy because they don't. Because the thing is, they're shit scared of the police over there.
You had no interpreter either, did you?
He was our interpreter.
Oh, right. And he
But-
wasn't interpreting.
But we had an Indian crew member from Tamil Nadu, so he could speak the lingo, but he's getting grilled as well.
Yeah.
He's getting arrested as well and acting as a translator, not just for us, but like for the Ukrainians and Estonians. And mind, some of them couldn't really speak English, so you've got an Indian speaking
Yeah.
broken English to, say, an Estonian or a Ukrainian speaking broken English and trying to get them to communicate for them to then translate to the Indians. It was an absolute nightmare.
Yeah. You can
Absolute
imagine the
nightmare.
noise going off in that. In that
Screaming
building,
and
like,
shouting, and we're like, what the hell? So we're at Portside for a good few days. Different companies coming and going. Oh, there's nothing to be had here. Because, you know, we're showing them the paperwork. We're showing them the ammunition. We are being...
And this is all locked away. The weapons and the ammunition's
the
locked
only
away.
people who have access to that room when on operations or non-operations is the captain and the TDO. We don't have access.
So once a job or a task has been confirmed, then the weapons are issued, ammunition's issued, and then you go onto your respectful vessels,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
then when kit comes back on the ship, it gets checked, stored away, locked away.
like a standard kit check.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Just like what you did when you were in the military.
Yeah.
Same procedures, etc. But it was just madness. You kept in the dark because there's not much to say. Oh, well, this company's being blah, and then they'll get one or two people to speak to the police. I was never called upon, but it was 1 minute, give your passport, next minute, get it back, next minute, because different organisations coming and going. And then the local boys, Q Branch, they took over. I think they were kind of hoping something was bigger to show their bigger
Who's Q
companions.
Branch? What are they?
Well,
They're like
they're
the Secret Service of India or something, or
they're Tamil Nadu's anti-terrorist unit. And you're thinking, anti-terrorist? What the hell are they doing here?
and this is 6 British veterans.
Yeah, and when you're on the port, there was media, online media reports saying we're selling weapons to fishermen, we're selling weapons to the Tamil Tigers, we're going to do a Mumbai-style attack on the nuclear power plant in Tamil Nadu. And you're thinking, what the hell's going on here?
The media peddling shit trying to make it worse than it is.
They're making a mountain out of a molehill. And now my family's seeing these reports. And my family's questioning my job. My dad said to me, tell me the truth. Are you up to no good? I went, no. I am doing my job, and that is to protect crew and cargo on vessels.
Yeah.
I am doing no wrongdoing. He goes, well, that's not what we're reading here. I said, didn't believe it. Till you hear from me,
Yeah.
believe nothing. So I spoke, obviously, with my sister, Lisa, and no doubt the other families were all bombarding the Foreign Office.
Yeah.
Our media then got wind of it, so media started gaining a bit of interest, and they finding out, getting in contact with my sister. So you've got my sister back in the UK, my family worried, obviously not just my family, but all of our families getting a bit worried what the hell's going on here. Because this doesn't just look like, oh, your paperwork's a bit dodgy, chuck with a couple of $1,000. This is, the shit's starting to hit the fan. And our embassy, not nowhere to be seen. And we're in contact and we're saying, well, where are they? And they're on their way. Well, no one's turning up here. Well, like, and then it was just manic. People trying to get on the, and we had to organise a guard to stop people coming on the vessel, because Indians don't have any conception of safety. They would have literally piled on that vessel till it capsized. That's how stupid they were. We had to literally say, get off this vessel. And a few people were like, oh, you're aggravating them. And do you want this vessel to capsize? Because that's what will happen. They were just trying to pile on, just to be a bit nosy.
Yeah.
And then after 4 days, they removed the weapons. And you're like, why are you taking the weapons? They removed the weapons, and we were...
see you as a threat?
They must have thought we were a threat, because I remember a big 4-tonner rocking up and loads of police officers jumping off the back with weapons. And I thought, what on earth is going on here? If you're going to make a mountain of a molehill, they are sharp doing it, mind. They are blowing things way out of perspective, yeah. All to look good for the media.
Yeah.
Making her bigger than Ben-Hur.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic in their eyes, but in our eyes, we're thinking, is this what's actually happening now?
Yeah.
Because we're still kind of in the dark. And
well, that's it. You're in the lurch, aren't you? You know what I mean?
We didn't know if we were coming or going. Well, at that moment of time, we weren't going nowhere.
Yeah.
But we didn't know where, if we were going to be staying at this port. And then the morning of the 18th of October 2013, we were alerted by the authorities that we are going to the hospital for checkup. And I've got this on video of Madame Q Branch, the woman who robbed us of 4 years of our lives, saying hospital, and we're questioning her, why do we need to go to hospital? You know what I would have preferred? If they just turned around and went, we're arresting you on suspicion of illegal weapons. I would have preferred that.
Yeah, at least you know what's going on.
Exactly. Now that you're going to hospital, a hospital that we never went to. We went to a police station.
Why do you need to go to hospital when you've had your medical checks before you got there?
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
You know, are you saying that I've got some hidden disease? I don't think so. So we were told, right, lads, put your uniforms on, because you're representing the company, let's show that we're not just Tom, Dick and Harry, that we're professional outfit. And if you want to make phone calls to your family, make sure you do it now, because you never know when you're going to next speak them. And it was a very hard thing. Time difference, 4.5 hours behind the UK was. So most of the people were sleeping. Yeah. Tried ringing my sister, obviously never answered straight away. My mum's tablets hadn't kicked in, so she answered the phone. And I told her that it's not good. We're getting arrested. I love you. And I don't know when I'll next be able to speak to you. But don't worry, I'll be okay. That was the last time I would ever have a normal conversation, even though it was practically not really a conversation. It was just me telling my mum, and she was quite groggy with her tablets and in and out of sleep. So I don't think she kind of digested till I'd put the phone down. Immediately after I put the phone down, my sister rang us back. I went, Lisa, shit hit the fan, get the embassy now. I love you. I'll be all right. Speak to you soon.
She rallied everyone, didn't she?
Yeah. She, amongst the other families, they were all in the same boat. You know, what the hell do you do?
Yeah.
We're getting carted off to a police station, little food, very little water, over 30 degrees, no translator, screaming and shouting, sign this or we'll ruin your lives, sign it. I'm like, I'm not signing a blank piece of paper. And you like I told you just before, you got the Indian guy translating and people playing hardball and, oh, it was absolute nightmare. And we're all in this tiny little room. 35 guys in this tiny little room crammed up. I didn't even fill no paperwork. I went, you've got me details, you've got me passport.
Yeah.
I don't need to write nothing. And then there was a doctor there, a so-called doctor. He just prodded your stomach a bit.
Yeah.
I was like, cheers. And then that was us. Carted away. Getting dark. Went to a court that was closed. Went around the back. Some guy waffled something in Tamil. Got back on the bus. And then headed to a hotel. The illustrious prison of Palamcourty. Got there. Pitch black. Mosquitoes. Sweaty. Horrendous. You've hardly been fed. You're dehydrated. You've got headaches. Your mind's going 10 knots to a dozen.
Couldn't imagine it.
Your family's coming into your mind. You're like, what on earth is going on?
Did you find out as night time come in that made it worse?
Well, you can't see what's happening and you're just staring at this big, awful, medieval-looking prison. And then you look at the date that was on it and you think, shit, that was when we used to rule India. And when we got into the prison eventually, when they found out there was British turning up, they were ecstatic. They were nearly doing cartwheels.
Yeah.
Shoes on the other foot kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, you want to be grateful we ruled you. We built your country practically. And, you know, but in Tamil Nadu, for the time I spent there, I was informed by Indians that it's anti-British, Tamil Nadu, especially the government at the time.
How long were you there for?
We were in that prison just for a couple of nights. And the 12 Indians stayed there. And the 23 foreigners, we were carted up to Puzzal, just outside of Chennai, to the remand prison. So we travelled through the night, and we got there in the morning. Travelled during the day and got there at night. So you didn't really know the extent of the size of the prison.
Yeah.
With it being dark, but it was a long walk to the main gate to our compound, and we were chucked in different cells in the compound, so we're all together but in different cells. So I shared a cell with 3 other guys, and a cell probably about 10 by 8, so pretty cramped.
Yeah.
They
They British guys, were they?
two British guys and 1 Estonian.
Right.
So you've been given your dog bowl, your metal mug, spoon, 2 bed sheets, and there's you, happy days, off your pop.
Yeah.
And you're just thinking, what the fuck?
No sentence, no nothing.
No, you're just, what's going on here? And then, obviously, the first thing you want to do is just try and get your head down, because it's late at night.
Yeah.
Just get your head down, wake up when they open the cell doors in the morning, and then try and get your head round things. We already, obviously, in the first prison, the second day, the embassy had turned up, so we briefed them up as much as we could. And then it was an open prison, so you were allowed to
Free roam.
free roam, but we were kind of still finding my feet. And we noticed there was Nigerians, there was the old Russian guy, Tamil Tigers, Iranian people in this foreign compound where they put foreign prisoners in the remand prison. So it was mad to see different nationalities, but in the wrong side of light
Yeah.
by being in a prison. It was just you were nervy a bit standoffish with people.
Yeah, 'cause you don't know the background, do you? You don't know why they're there.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know what I mean? It's like you're in the same room as them. You're like, they could be in for all sorts.
And like we try to assess the situation, try and get a feel of the compound.
Yeah.
Orientate yourself around. Try and, if you can, what is one man's rubbish is another man's treasure, as they say.
Yeah.
Look for little things that could help and assist things.
The gym.
Yeah, the Nigerians had already built a little gym in that prison at the time. So that kind of later down the line gave a bit of initiative to eventually build ours when we get convicted. But it was that prison were kind of really left in the dark on information wise. I think for 3 out of the 6 months we were there, we heard nothing. Either the embassy were coming bringing letters, but even they didn't even know what was going on.
So you're questioning every single day, saying what's going on, what's going on.
Yeah, trying to speak with legal team, try and get where's the agent? You know, why were you not doing it? And when we finally saw him, he was just getting grilled, like talking to them through a barred fence.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell are you doing? What you playing at? Blah blah. What the fuck's going on? Why are we in here? What are we doing wrong? What's going on? Oh, wobbling his head, like smiling, and we're like, it's not a laughing matter, mate.
No.
We're behind bars where you should be as well.
Yeah.
Because when you looked at the charge sheet, if we had a cat or a dog on that vessel, that would have been on and now. They arrested everyone. And they couldn't even spell anyone's names properly.
Really?
Couldn't even copy it from their passports. And even Estonians and Ukrainians, it's in English as well as their language.
Yeah.
Their name. So it's easy printing. And they couldn't. So if you took our charge sheet with all of our names to a UK court, it would be thrown out straight away because everyone's name was wrong.
Yeah.
My name's Nicholas James Dunn. I was just down as Nicholas James. That's not my name.
No.
Not my name. Some of the Estonians, I think, just made up names, half of them.
Really?
I'm like, absolutely ridiculous. It was like Bill and Ben, age 4 and 5, in charge of an investigation.
Orange Crayola.
Using crayons and everything. It was absolutely laughable. But they had our arses.
Yeah.
They had us where they wanted. There was obviously an ulterior motive behind what had happened. We didn't know this at the time, but we knew, and a lot of people knew in maritime, January 2012, 2 Italian Marines working for their government doing anti-piracy rules for their navy wrongly killed 2 Indian fishermen off the coast of Kerala. They obviously didn't do their job properly.
No.
I've been on the coast of India. I've seen their vessels. They do come close looking at these big vessels. They're just being inquisitive.
Yeah.
Yes, you look and remain vigilant, but before you pull a trigger in maritime, you got loads of stuff to do. So basically them 2 absolute idiots with a catalyst of taking 4 years of our lives away. Simple as that.
Do you think it was a grudge thing?
Well, India were hurting. They wanted blood. They were pissed off about the HRA being in the Indian Ocean because the way the Indians see it, Indian Ocean, this ocean belongs to us.
Yeah.
It's just a name of the ocean. Doesn't belong to you.
No.
But that's how their mentality works, and they got fobbed off from doing the Navy
Yeah.
maritime operations because they were just going around blatting people,
Yeah.
smashing, and they were shit.
Yeah.
Just shit. Basically, you're killing innocent fishermen, saying that pirates. Well, imagine if we started doing that, there'd be lawsuits galore. That's why you get trained into doing procedures.
Yeah.
Yeah, rules of engagement.
Yeah, SOPs, everything.
Everything before you even pull a trigger.
Yeah.
Like, these people are now in control of our lives, and we don't know our head from our arse.
Yeah.
You're trying your best not to think your family, but it's fucking hard.
Yeah.
I'm 5,000 miles away from home in an Indian prison for a crime I've not committed. What the fuck am I supposed to think about apart from my family and my own well-being? Someone please tell me.
It takes a very strong person, and I think being military trained as well I think that's aided you.
It has
massively.
Massively. It helped a lot of it. You go into a situation, you assess it while you've still got a healthy mind, get yourself into a routine, try and build up on that routine, keep yourself active.
Yeah.
Don't sit and fester, because at night time when that cell door shuts, all that shit comes back to you.
Yeah.
So you don't want literally a 24-hour period of down in the dumps. You want to try and walk around in the sun. Yeah, it's walking around and around till your bloody feet are sore. But it's keeping you active, trying to not think of family.
Yeah.
You don't want to not think of them, but you've got to, because you've got to think of the there and now, your own mental well-being. You're not getting any information. Every time the embassy will come to say, well, like, what's going on? And they're like, I'm like, well, speak to the lawyer.
Yeah.
Nothing's happening. Why is the British government allowing this to happen?
Yeah.
We had some laughs in that prison. Of course we did.
You have to.
You've got to.
Yeah.
Like, we're doing little battleship games on the night time just to pass the time. You know, like chatting away.
Yeah.
Or tell us some funny stories from your time in the army and other maritime stories, and just get to know who you're sharing a cell with a bit better, and trying to pass the time.
Yeah.
Because you don't know how long you're going to be in here for.
I think that's the worst part of it, is that you don't know. You know what I mean?
We never knew how long.
So fast forward to when you actually got released. How did that come about? Because obviously there's the your sister Lisa was doing a lot in the background back in the UK and stuff like that, and she was obviously there were families who work with the embassy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Was it down to what I read in the book was down to what triggered it? Was down to the captain? Was it the captain?
Yeah. When we finally got released, obviously, like you say, fast forward, we went in this prison 6 months. We got bail. A couple of months later, our case was quashed in July. They appealed to Supreme Court, and then we spent practically like a year and a half with no charges being illegally held against our will in India, which caused a massive financial strain on my family. And then a trial happened back in the Lions Den where it all began, and we got convicted for 5 years. They said the weapons were illegal, but what he really said was the original design method. He just missed out, yeah, but this weapon's had parts removed and cannot be replaced to fire a single shot. He just gave the original G3 design method, which is a weapon of war. And to convict were illegal. But yeah, so we spent time in prison, got an appeal in straight away. That was taking time. We were dealing with court closures, strikes of lawyers, and you're scratching your head and you're thinking, what? Courts closing, lawyers on strike? Does that actually happen? Absolute madness. And then we waited nearly a year just for a judge to make a decision. A year.
Wow.
And you're thinking, what's going on? And as you know, you're asking your lawyer, what's going on? I've done everything I can. It's out of my hands. We push it. And what might be like in our country where you can go and speak to someone, in India, they see their superiors as people where they don't like to bother them.
Ah, right.
So our lawyer can't just necessarily knock on the Chief Justice's, because each state in India has a Chief Justice, and then you've got the Chief Justice up in New Delhi Supreme Court. So our lawyer, she couldn't speak to the Chief Justice. So we went through our government. So we had a meeting with numerous times with the Deputy High Commissioner, a few meetings with the High Commissioner, and we met 2 different foreign ministers. Foreign minister. That's high up the chain.
Yeah.
You might as well have sent Boris Johnson when he was the Foreign Secretary to come and see you, but he couldn't be bothered. He just sent his minions instead. So you've got to take it serious, because that doesn't happen. If you're a British prisoner, you do not see these people. You don't. So the government is bending their own rules for our case because of the nature of our case. It was long, frustrating. The captain was quite a vocal, jack-in-the-box kind of guy who would always be eccentric, and he would exaggerate a lot. I'm dying, and all this crap. He actually was dying. He had bone cancer.
Really?
And he looked awful, mate. I shit you not. He looked like a bag of bones with skin. He was pale, his eyes, he looked on death's doorstep. And I said, for us to get out of this prison, a few things may happen. 1, we serve our sentence. 2, we win our appeal, or someone dies.
Yeah.
I was nearly close. Well, I got one of them right. Won our appeal. However, it came out by him nearly dying. So while we're at the High Court waiting on a judgment, our lawyers put a red herring through the courts. His case to go out and die and have his family from the Ukraine come out to India to a private hospital to watch him die. Little did he know his treatment has responded. So he's going up through the courts, past High Court. He's gone to Supreme Court. And we're like, and they put it in the newspaper with the judge's name. And we're like, who's this? And our lawyer went, it's the Chief Justice. And we're like, what? Yeah, the Chief Justice of India is hearing his case. And we're like, get the legal team to, chuck a little bit in about us, about, do you want to tend to your minions down in the High Court in Madurai? There's a case waiting yet to be heard. It's been a year. Do you want to, entertain that as well?
Yeah. While you're there, like.
And he did. He went, I'm not even bothered about someone dying. He just goes, we'll get this translated and take it how it's come. And it's practically, words to effect, what you in my country? Still. And our lawyers jumped on it. Well, Your Honour, if you can take a close look at the High Court in Madurai, you'll understand why. And he's gone, right, I want a court date within 2 weeks. Now, take that to High Court. Not even entertaining him about him dying, so we're like, it's on like Donkey Kong, yeah?
Just one shot the country, basically, yeah.
Yeah. This has become a mountain out of a molehill.
Yeah.
It's the cases, it shouldn't have happened. I met with Madame Q Branch, as we are right now, across her desk. I was shown pictures of me mum in hospital after suffering a double aneurysm with tubes coming out, scars from an emergency brain operation, legal letters from 2 of our lawyers stating Indian law, you are illegally holding us against our will. And she turns around and went, let the courts decide. I went, well, make sure your prosecutor turns up this time, yeah?
Yeah.
I've actually spoke to lawyers in the UK and I've said, what happens if a prosecutor doesn't turn up? And they've said, well, they'll try and get a replacement one. Failing that, it just gets thrown out. But they just went 2 weeks. So going back to the decision, 2 weeks. It was actually a week later, the 27th of November 2017, Judgment Day. It was amazing to finally, because I was optimistic as hell. A lot of people were still skeptical. I do not blame them. I was still a little bit skeptical, but I was more positive because this decision came from Chief Justice of India from the Supreme Court to Madras High Court in Tamil Nadu, saying, I want a decision now. So if he says no, guess where it's going? Supreme Court, which have just... So we couldn't win. I mean, sorry, we couldn't lose.
Yeah.
But in other people's mind, they were still a bit skeptical. And yes, I might have been putting a brave face on myself. We've all gone through, you know, heartache. People have gone through divorces, loss of family members. I lost my auntie in prison. I'm having to deal with my mum suffering a double aneurysm, missing my family. We're all absolutely at our wits' end. Everyone is suffering. And we're now getting this little bit of glimmer of hope.
Yeah.
So Sunday night, you know, we're kind of in a jubilant mood, but calm.
Yeah.
We're happy that Judgment Day is tomorrow. But it's Sunday night and we're like trying to not try and think of it because you'll never get to sleep. Well, we never got to sleep anyways.
No, obviously not, no.
Because you're buzzing your tits off and you're kind of thinking of the bad and the good mixed in your family. And none of us slept that night. And I've said this many times. It sounds corny as hell, but we were listening to the radio and it was playing rock ballads. And the song The Final Countdown from Europe came on. And I now hold that song close to my heart now because it means so much to me. And when it's saying the final countdown, which it was, Judgment Day is the next day, I stood up and said, it's over tomorrow. And you can understand how a few lads we'll see. And I was like, that's it. We're going. We're home for Christmas. I shit you not. Maybe I was just masking me own feelings. Maybe I was a bit too positive for quite a few of the guys. I noticed, you know, a few guys, you know, didn't like it at times. I don't blame them. You know, I'm not going to say anything on that matter, but yeah, like, it was difficult for everyone, but we've been given, finally, a bit of hope. Couldn't wait to get out, try and tire myself out in my little Flintstone gym. That one made with flagstones, branches, you know, bed sheets. Quite a little good setup. I had my sister send us a spy pen out, so I went around and took some pictures of the prison. So they're on my social media if anyone wants to check them out, and they are legitimate.
I'll put all the links in the description.
Some of the dates do look dodgy, but that's because of the spy pen date. My sister had no interest. She just wanted to charge up and put it in a parcel, get it to as quick as possible. But they are legitimate for anyone who wants to question that. They're on my phone if you want to say them. You know, but you will get people who will question the far end of a sweaty fart. And you're just thinking, shut up, man. You know, were you there? No, you can't say nothing then, can you? But you're waiting all day. But you're trying to stay active. You're trying to not think of it because people are asking, have you heard? Have you heard? And I'm like, man, your guess is as good as mine. So I'm just trying to keep active, writing letters, try and get them posted away, reading my book, doing some crosswords, dot to dots, workout. And then I was busy working out, and a couple of guys came to the barred windows and they went, Dunny, Dunny. I went, what, man? Case acquitted. It's over. And I was like, see, I told you. And honestly, it felt like my heart was going to jump out my chest. I was buzzing. Absolutely buzzing. So I thought, right, I'll finish my set. And I was
going to say, did you finish your set? Like,
I'll finish my set. And I was like, my head went, no, fuck this. I had to finish, had to sack me training because my heart was going absolutely 10 to a dozen. I was like, my knees were getting, I've had to hold back the tears.
Yeah, I can imagine so.
4 years of nightmare finally coming to an end. And I walked into the cell and I saw the faces of everyone. Smiles, happiness, sadness, relief, emotions rolled into one. But it wasn't over. Still had to spend a night in prison. No one slept again.
No.
So there's 2 nights of no sleep. As soon as that cell door was open, I've already kicked him out the way. I was like, I need to tie myself out. So I was back in the gym, and every time I did a set, I walked around the compound, and one of the guys got summoned to the superintendent. So I collared him when I was walking around. I goes, where are you off to? Oh, the superintendent's summoned us. I went, all right. Oh, went around, trained, and I was walking around and I collared him in again on his way back in, and I went, what's the crack? He went, get your shit together, the embassy's coming at 11. And I shit you not, I felt like someone just ran up and just sucker punched us in the stomach. All my wind, it just came out of us. Someone had kneecapped us. I felt sick. I felt ill. I was like that. I started shaking. I was like, I was holding back the tears because I didn't want, Indians to look at me that I'm crying. But inside it just felt like the world was finally off my shoulders.
Yeah.
I felt personally weighed down for 4 years. And to be told, get your shit together, the embassy's coming at 11 o'clock was like winning the lottery for us.
I imagine so, yeah.
But packing stuff away, what little, clothes that were accumulated over the time in prison, personal items, I wasn't going to give the Indians me porridge. I gave them a shower gel and stuff like that because I know I was going to get squared away in a hotel.
Yeah.
Going down to the main gate and seeing the embassy there, High Commissioner, Deputy High Commissioner, I knew it was real.
Yeah.
All that proceedings, and then got to the embassy, rung my sister.
What was her reaction?
Well, with the phone, it was kind of that second delay, and she didn't know. She didn't know it was me. She couldn't recognise my voice because I probably didn't sound. I was probably excited. Yeah. She's like, "It's me." She went, "Who?" I went, "Me. I'm out." And she goes, "I'm on the way to Newcastle Airport. I'm coming to get you." I was like, "Oh, my dad." She must have just got told the news, and what she told us is when she got told the news, 2 friends went, "There's £500. Get them now. Get to India now." And the people in support of myself and my family, like,
you've had so much support from the UK. I mean,
I hold it high regard. Something that I'm very proud of my community.
Yeah.
To get behind someone they don't know. Yes, there was always the tales of I have been doing something wrong, but majority of people knew I hadn't done anything wrong.
Stuck by you and pulled
and
together.
That was because of the way the family members portrayed themselves, especially my sister. My sister went to the ends of the world to make it known injustice was served.
Yeah.
And finally justice had been served 4 years too late.
Yeah.
It should never have started, but it unfortunately did, and it took 4 years of our lives away. But to get to that hotel, I couldn't really sleep.
No.
For a few days, because it was alien to me, sleeping on a tiny thin mattress on a slate floor with bedsheet to a nice Radisson blue double bed. I'd rather sleep on the fucking floor. I was so used to it.
Yeah.
As much as it like hurted me hips and spine and all that, that's what I was accustomed to for so long. So the bed was for nearly a week for me flying back to the UK. I hadn't slept. I was fucked.
Yeah.
I was like, coming back, it was just amazing. Getting on that plane in Chennai.
Yeah.
Flying to Dubai. I think I got internet signal in Dubai for about 5 minutes. After that, I didn't even have a signal. I couldn't get a signal.
Really?
And I was trying to keep awake with caffeine because I thought I've got a 6-hour layoff here.
Yeah.
Before a 7-hour flight, and I haven't slept in a week. I am bollocks.
Yeah.
And I didn't get me messages till I got back in the UK, and I was still going through them in February. And one of the guys I surfed with in one para he was asking for me flight details, man. He was gonna upgrade us, but I didn't get his message till February. I had that many because I had no signal. I was like, no SIM card, nothing. I was stuck in Dubai on me toad. I was like, what the fuck? I had a little bit of money with us, so I could buy a couple of coffees and all that.
Yeah.
Scratting for 6 hours. I was fucked. Get me on that plane.
Madness.
And I thank Emirates. They looked after me on the flight. Yeah, I had my own little trolley dolly. She wouldn't serve no one else, but they made it low key.
Yeah.
I think when I got on the plane in Dubai to go to Newcastle, there was people who must have recognised us because when you clock someone, there was a few little thumbs up and the wording of thank you and all that through their mouth, and they must have just looked at me and went, he looks like he's been to fucking hell.
He survived it.
Just. And no thanks to people's support, my sister, and me. How I done it, I don't know. How we all survived, I don't know. You never know what you're capable of in life.
Until you put it to the max.
Yeah.
To put to the very edge. And like I always say, once you're out your comfort zone, that's when powerful things happen. That's when you learn your true self. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right down to doing this podcast, my confidence, stepping out of my comfort zone, has made me able to bring guests on like you that have inspired me in the past, that are still inspiring me now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And your book is like I said, it's not a collector's item, mate. It's absolutely fucked now because obviously I work in engineering. It's black. It's covered in oil. There's notes all over it. So it's but it's an absolute amazing read, and I suggest everyone gets on Amazon. It's Amazon, isn't it? That's where I got mine from.
Amazon.
It's in Asda as well, isn't it?
It was when it was in hardback, but it's in paperback as well as hardback. Waterstones sells it. If I get enough orders, I can personally order them, and then you get a signed one off me personally. If you get it
a signed one here now, am I?
I will. I'll sign it. But yeah, Amazon's the main go-to place for buying my book because you can buy obviously the Kindle version, the hardback, and the paperback. I am speaking with my agent to try and sort out audio, but it's quiet at the minute.
Yeah.
A few people have told us they want me book on audio because a lot of people listen to audio books, especially for like long drives and flights and stuff like that. And just not everyone's a good reader, but maybe a good listener.
It took me 3 months to get through that.
Well, some people's read it in about 8 hours.
Yeah.
2 hours. Yeah. Proper bookworms and all that, man.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Like when people have described when they've read my book, like I'm totally flabbergasted. Like, in people's lovely comments and reviews they've left, and for someone who picks up a book and is nearly bursting for the toilet because they don't want to put it down, that taking the book to the toilet and finishing the chapter. Some people have had to force, and these are people telling me, whether that's just saying it for being nice, but why would you mention it anyways if you were telling shit?
Yeah.
Some people have had to force themselves to put the book down because it's kept them entertained. And,
It's
the
amazing read.
and the guy, Howard Linsky, who helped me write it, has made that the way it is. My words, in the way he's constructed it with the chapters, and I read quite a lot of the books. So for those who have read it and haven't read it, it starts off later down the line and then goes back to the beginning. And I read quite a lot of books in that setup whilst in prison. So that was kind of what I wanted my book to be laid out like.
Yeah.
But people wanted me to do this book. Like when I came home, when I was still shell-shocked as to what the fuck's just happened in 4 years, and I'm walking around with long hair like a lost sheep wondering what the hell's going on here around my local town, and people were, oh, there he is there, I'll go and say hello. You're an easy person to find, Nick. I was like walking around oblivious to things, mental. But, you know, like they say, oh, welcome home, Nick. I'm glad you're home. How's things? And then before they left, they were like, Nick, you should do a book. And so many people saying, Nick, you should do a book.
I'm made up, you've done it. I really am.
And then I just said to my sister, look, what we've got to lose. So we just went through the proceedings of trying to get a book.
Yeah.
You know, wrote a big lengthy synopsis and sent it out to publishers, agents, whatnot. And then one person would entertain saying, oh, do this, do that. And then the guys who I've got as agent and the guy who helped us write it were aware of the story anyway, so it was like kind of easier than someone who hasn't got a clue about the story, heard it or whatnot, and having to go literally day to day for 4 years. A lot of the stuff, you know, I couldn't fit in the book because it's 4 years.
Yeah,
I have to cram it down and get the majority in and the bulk of the whole 4 year epic nightmare.
I think it's amazing. I think you've done an amazing job. What I'll do is I'll put the description in I'll put the link in the description to Amazon, and we'll push it as much as we can. And but mate, I think we'll have to end it there because
no problem.
I can see you divering.
Yeah, it's been a long drive. Yeah.
But mate, thank you so much for coming down, and it's been an absolute honour to meet you. And,
no problem.
I wish you all the best in the future. If you need anything, you've got my number now.
Yeah. Just a little send off from myself. For those who might be aware, I am now facing my demons in mental health. It's been a roller coaster of the past month or so. I felt lost. I felt ashamed in myself to the point where I thought I was literally processing on about taking my own life. That's the bottom line. I was going to go through with it one night. And something deep down inside held me back. And I went to social media and publicly came out.
Yeah.
And the response that I received was second to none. And I thank every single person who stopped me, because they did. My family was there. And it's horrible. I've been home now since December 2017. I've wrote a book going through it. I've been doing podcasts. I've been openly talking about it. And this has still happened.
Yeah.
So, yes, talking about it has been a good experience, and I have been self-healing. But I'm not in that mental state where I'm constantly battling against the prison, the police authorities, and I'm in time of, you know, calm. And I've not realised how vulnerable I've honestly been. And it's just taken me.
Yeah.
And I'm going through talking therapy that starts on Monday. I'm not going to be under any illusions where I feel good and then just sack everything off. I'm going to go start, middle, end.
Yeah.
Do it properly.
The thing is, you've gone and got the help, and you've got it sorted. You mean where some people will just bottle it. You mean
Yeah.
that what you've done there, gone and sourced help straight away. That's a massive step that a lot of fellas can't do.
A lot of people are chucking different numbers towards me, and you know there is a lot of help out there.
Yeah.
Don't do what I did, palm things off because of your self-pride. My pride's dented. There was a big thing. You know, you can see the face, the videos I uploaded talking about it, and I feel I've come on leaps and bounds since I've openly came out and talked about that I am struggling. I do feel a hell of a lot mentally better. The weather's a big thing coming out of lockdown. You've got to take into consideration we were in lockdown during winter.
Yeah.
Less daylight, bad weather. My advice to anyone who is suffering, you're not alone. The help is there. It takes a man or a woman, a big man and a woman, to openly admit to yourself you've got a problem.
Yeah.
Don't be nasty to other people who will notice it, because some people will notice it more than you.
Yeah.
Listen to them. Seek help. Do what I did, and it'll change your life. Did I think about my family when I was wanting to take my own life? No. I thought of nothing. I felt alone, emptiness. But I've made the right decision.
Yeah. No, you have, yeah. Definitely.
And everyone's told me that, and I thank everyone's support on that matter, and everyone's continued support through 4 years of hell, and everyone who's been able to read my book. I thank everyone for leaving kind reviews, and it's helped me massively. And if you haven't read it, why not?
Get on it.
It has a happy ending, and we all need a bit of happiness in our life.
We do. And if you ever need to talk or whatever, my number's there. And
I appreciate it.
Anyone that is suffering out there, get on to the DMs, get on to us, chat away. I'm more than happy to chat away and help you through it.
My social media is open. If anyone wants to send me any messages via Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, I will respond as quick as I can. Yeah, we all go through struggles in our lives. Just let it not be alone.
Yeah.
Seek help, and you will get by. Think of it as a marathon, not a sprint. It's going to take time.
Oh yeah, definitely. Nick Dunn.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is that mate?
Hi.